That's the most you can get from me. Until we're like, face to face again, I just can't sing the song. I'm just so low energy. You know,
You need a little jingle, like an official jingle.
there is one. Apparently, like, because like we would be messing around during the podcast, and I'll just start singing like "Robot and the Bear," and like Eric like grab the audio of it and like would throw it in to the beginnings of some of them. I don't know whether
Yeah,
you still.
I haven't lately, but
Yeah.
for a long time it was the beginning and it was at the very end. Yeah, yeah. And I was like, because I kind of like I'm waiting for him to make a new one.
Yes, yeah. One of these
Yeah.
days, it'll
Yep.
happen. It'll
Yep.
happen probably next year.
So welcome to Robot and the Bear, number 61, with Mr. Scott Tolleson with the greatest background ever.
Yes.
Look at that.
You're a little distorted sounding.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. A little bit. I'm sorry about that.
It's all good.
Scott Tolleson with the eyeball in the
Yes,
background.
the all-seeing
Right.
eye.
Yeah,
with ears.
I'm in the House of Illuminati right now.
Yeah. So, do you have a green screen back there? Like, why does it?
Actually, you might have a point. This is painted green.
Oh.
Maybe because it's painted green, it's picking up. It's telling the camera just to pick that area up. That's a good. I didn't think about that. I mean, there's this one little spot you can kind of see it's green. Well, I have a line on right here, but then it's painted green and it comes over. So yeah.
Whoa.
Wow.
Okay, now we know. That's why.
You need to paint those shutters green, Eric, and then you get to start dropping all kinds of crazy shit.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to do that thing with.
Oh, it's under preferences.
It's in preferences.
Okay, I'll try it one day. Yeah, I don't even know how.
Yeah, it's super easy.
Okay.
So, we've had a couple of interactions before with Giant Robot. We did a long time ago. We did the Bartholomew Punchy Face release at Giant Robot. But the one thing that brings all three of us together now is Pop Shop. Dun dun dun.
Right.
Eric, of course, is our resident veteran. I'm like the sophomore, and Scott, you're the freshman. You're coming in. You're debuting.
I am. I'm actually, my first show's on Saturday, and I'm it's giving me an excuse to go through stuff. Like years of boxes and boxes.
Wow.
Artist proofs, samples, back stock. And it's funny because I'm really like, you guys do the convention circuit. So I'm really bad at, after conventions, throwing things in a box and just putting them in a corner and just kind of forgetting about them. So this is giving me an excuse to go through those boxes and be like, oh, I have this stuff. So I'm excited about it.
So do you actually, when you go to a convention and you get stuff, does that box in the corner include other stuff that you get from other people?
Sometimes it does.
Okay.
I actually pulled out a couple things in a box a week and a half or 2 weeks ago that I completely forgot I bought, that I had from a convention, and I was just like, I thought I bought this, but I couldn't find it. Yeah, I'm your typical artist, totally unorganized stereotype.
So yeah, I found a box from a Zine Fest, and it's like I was thinking, oh yeah, this is gonna be all Giant Robot junk. I open it, it's all the zines that I got from a Zine Fest from like 2 years ago that I never even looked at. You know what I mean? Like I bought a bunch, I put it in a box and did what you did, put it in a corner.
Yeah.
I open it up and I'm like, I think this isn't even last year. I think this is like 2 years ago. So it's like treasure, but
I still have toys that I haven't
terrible.
Opened.
Oh,
terrible.
From 4 years ago that are still in the original, bags that, con exclusive bags that they were like, putting them in. It's like you just kind of get caught up in the entire, like, it's like a Black Friday kind of thing when you go to a con, right? Of any kind, like a Zine Fest or like a Comic-Con or something like that. Like, especially if you're like new to all of it, you're just like, you get really amped up and you're excited and you got all this money in your pocket and you're like, all right, I'm going to freaking buy one of this. Is this an exclusive? I'm going to totally buy that. I'm going to buy this. And then,
Yep.
you know, in the beginning you get excited and you would open it up and like, you know, like look at it. But then after a while, you just kind of let it like catch dust, like, you know,
Yeah.
in the dark recesses of your living space.
Now, part of it is if you're a vendor, you get home and you're like, oh, that was a tough weekend of hard work. The last thing I want to do is look at stuff that I bought. So I usually, Then I think I'm going to look at it later, and then I'm still tired the next day. Then tired the next day after that, and then I forgot about that box by then, and I'm on to the next thing, and I'm like, oh man, I already forgot. So yeah, the tiredness supersedes the excitement of looking at zines or whatever I got. So
yeah, it
kind of works that way.
It's almost like, okay, I did that, it's over with, I'm on to the next thing, and then you just almost don't, and you just don't even want to think about it, because you're so that's what happens to me. And actually honestly, the pop shop thing is a blessing in disguise, because when conventions do come around, I'm so focused on like getting new stuff for it, or, you know, even stuff from the year before, that I don't really go through archived stuff like that, because to me, like, it's kind of old stuff. But like, the pop shop thing is nice because it's like, well, now I'm at my house, I can go through boxes, and I don't have to lug things to a convention. So I feel like it's right here to show and to sell, and also for new fans or people that don't know my work, I can pick through something that's like 10 or 12 years old, and I can talk about it and say, hey, I made this thing that you might not know about.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's kind of cool that way as well.
Are you gonna do it? Are you gonna do the pop shop thing in that room, like right where you're sitting?
Yeah, I am actually.
Okay, so question: what is above you? There's like a shelf above your ceiling.
Right here.
Yeah. What's?
Oh, it's like a cube. So like this.
So that's like a stash shelf right there that kind of goes deeper than your ceiling.
Yeah. So I'm in like what is this, like? It's a prefab shed essentially. I don't know the measurements. I think it's like a 10 by 15. Or 12 by 15, and and I just like, this is my studio that's separate from the house, so this is where I come out to work and everything. Wow. So it's not even done yet. Like, I have so much. I'm just gonna fill it with crap eventually, and all this stuff up here is just like temporary. Like, you know, this is like a Boba Fett prototype helmet that I haven't opened yet. And these are, I
see some Baby Yodas right there.
Baby Yoda, and that's another Boba Fett helmet. So this stuff isn't necessarily staying there. Like, a lot of times I just throw it up there to get it out of the way temporarily.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Speaking of Star Wars, I know from my understanding, you are also like kind of do art direction stuff for Disney.
Yeah. Not at the moment. The furlough is still intact. As you know, like, I don't know if you guys keep up on the Disneyland news at all, but the parks and Disneyland and Disney is really pushing Newsom to open up soon. And you know, whether you believe, like, for me, like, obviously I have a bias, like, I want to be open, right, because I work there, and I want to, but it still feels kind of weird. Like, I wouldn't go there now, right? Like, I wouldn't go to Disneyland, but personally, like, I want to get back to work. So it's this weird, like, conflict. And with my job, it's not, so what's weird is, before the pandemic, I was juggling like 5 projects, you know, and these are projects like art directing, this type of thing, with 5 projects. So they just did a blanket, like, everyone is furloughed. Like, it doesn't matter, like, if you're a part of this like level, even like executives were furloughed. So like, even people like way above me. And so it feels weird to, I've kind of gotten used to it though, to be honest.
Oh, wait. What was your job, I guess, to be clear, because we kind of were talking about it, but I don't, those at home might not know.
Yeah, sorry. So it's art. I'm an art director, and with live entertainment. So all of our projects are parade related, shows in the parks, any kind of character meet and greets, those type of things. But it's, you know, I started off being exclusively at Disneyland, but we've like gone globally now. So I've worked in Hong Kong, and I've done things in other parks, but, you know, it's sort of grown since I've been there, which was like 21 years ago is when I started.
Wow. You're a vet. So wait,
Yeah.
what's the best Disneyland in the world in your opinion?
Tokyo Disney Sea.
Oh, that's is that newer?
No, I've never been there.
Yeah. Is that new?
No.
That's not new.
No, it's
okay.
Not new. Both Tokyo parks. Have you guys haven't been?
No.
It is like, it's insane the amount of detail, the amount of money really poured into those parks. Because what it is like, so what happened is just a quick walkthrough of what happened. So Japan wanted a Disney theme park, so what happened is Disney licensed, all the, like everything, the IP to the OLC, which is the Oriental Land Company. So essentially the Oriental Land Company, they throw as much money as they want into the parks and at Disney to develop the rides and attractions and everything. So the money just flows, and there's no sort of like, what happens here is it gets caught up and it's all political and everything. Over there, it's like the OLC says, we want to throw 80 million at an attraction for Little Mermaid, and then they get WDI involved in it, and it just happens. So the rides, the attractions, the food, the entertainment, everything over there is just insanely top notch. But it's like, it's like Japan. So like, it's like anywhere in Japan, wherever you go, it's just like, overload, like sensory overload. So imagine that in a Disney theme park, and that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, but the Disney here is pretty good. What can be better? Like, isn't it good? Like the Disney here in Anaheim, I go there and I'm like, whoa, this is pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good. What can Japan do more than that? I don't get it.
This is the original. So yeah, this one's charming. Over there, it's just a different, like every Disney theme park has.
Do they have sushi? Like, what do they got there that's so much better?
Yeah. They have the food is better. They have sushi. They have exclusive food. So each of their lands, everything in that land is exclusive to that land. So if you go to Tomorrowland, like all the food, all the merchandise, everything that you get, you can only get there. Whereas here, it's like kind of spread out.
Oh, so do they have Star Wars there too?
They do not have a.
So there, that sucks. All right, USA, Anaheim.
Did you go to when did you go to Star Wars Land, Eric?
I haven't gone. But I know it's cool. I know people who went. I know it's cool.
I had been like waiting for an opportunity to like get Scott to sneak me into the park, but like pandemic.
I know.
I was like, you know what? Fuck. Like when Star Wars Land first opened up, I was like, fuck this. It's only one ride. There's supposed to be 2 rides. I'm gonna fucking wait. I'm gonna wait for the second ride to open up. And then I'm gonna like bug like my buddy who works with Disney, and he's going to fucking get my ass in there, and it's going to be awesome, and I want to experience both rides, and and then pandemic.
And now it's over. None of us will ever go again. It's done. Closed down.
So you only work on Disney stuff, but wait, did you say worldwide, or did you just the one? Is it just the ones here?
Yeah, globally. So
okay.
So 3 or 4 years ago, I can't remember. It's 3 or 4 years ago. I art directed the Jedi Training Academy and some character meet and greets at Hong Kong Disneyland. So, like a good 3 months out of that year, I was gone and working over there, which was awesome. Like it was an amazing experience. The unfortunate thing is I had gone to, so just a personal experience. Right before I went to Hong Kong for the first time, I'd gone to Japan for the first time. So I spent like 2.5 weeks in Japan, and I was like, oh, cool. I'm, like, what's Hong Kong going to be like? And I got there and I'm like, it's cool, but it's not Japan. It was fun to be away still, but I was like,
do it the other way around next time.
Next time.
Because you ate dessert first, then you ate like a plate of shit or something.
Yeah.
Not quite shit, but I mean, just a mediocre meal at Denny's or something. But you went to the best dessert ever
No, it's
first.
true. It's
Yeah.
true. I remember one time I went to Japan. I stopped in Taiwan first, and Taiwan's great. I love Taiwan. It's got the grit of China, but like some of the like leftover elements of Japan because Taiwan used to be a Japanese colony. But and then I went to Japan, and and memories of Taiwan just kind of got pushed to the corner as I was like immersed in the the madness that is Japan.
Yeah.
Wait, so okay, Japan's Disney theme park is different is different and apparently better. If you were going to Japan again, would you make it a point to go to the Disney theme park?
Oh, for sure. And
Really?
yeah,
Wow.
you know what's crazy is Luke can attest to this. I'm not really a Disney guy. Like,
right.
I'm just like I love my job. I love people I work with. Most of them, well, some of them. Like I love the career there and what comes with it and all that. But I never like grew up being like, yes, I'm gonna work at Disney. And then Disneyland, I hate going. If I don't have to go, I won't go. But I will tell you, when I went to those parks in Japan, like after I left, I was rejuvenated. I was like company man again. I'm like, yeah, Disney's amazing. So I would definitely go back just to see what's different, and it's always changing. And again, every single attraction, everything's quality there. So for sure, I'd go.
Wow. And so what's the difference? There's sea. So is that like Little Mermaid and stuff, or what is the difference? I didn't know there was two until quite recently.
Yeah, so they do have Little Mermaid over there. It's kind of there's not really the theme is sea, but it's sort of loosely themed to that. So there's like a 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea ride. There's a Journey to the Center of the Earth. There is a Little Mermaid like complex. It's an indoor thing that is just crazy. It's insane.
Wow.
And there's like a big ship there with a restaurant in it. So there's a lot, and it's a lot of land.
Is it cheap? Like you go there, it's only $30.
So you know what sucks for me?
Okay.
You know what sucks for me is I get free entrance into any theme park, like Disney theme park, except for Japan because it's owned by the OLC. So any employee perks do not apply. So no discount on anything, no free tickets.
So I had to completely you would pay to go into these parks.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wow.
For sure.
So it must be really good. That's an interesting thing for people to know, I guess. That I would think, why would I go there it would just be redundant. I'd be like going back to Anaheim, but in Japan, why would I go?
I promise, like you'd be. I mean,
really?
If you're into theme parks, like if you're not into theme parks, like don't go. But like if you like theme parks, or if you like them, even if you just like them, I definitely go because it's an insane time.
Wow, that's surprising to hear. Okay,
yeah. Especially from you, Scott, because I know, like like you and I, like when we like hang out, like. I will like bust your balls about Disney, and like you would like just know, and I know that you are. I know if anyone out there, I know like you are not a Disney guy. So.
Right. Yeah, and it's just anything that got me sort of back into Disneyland was working on this when Star Wars came around because I'm a huge Star Wars fan. So. When Disney bought Lucasfilm, I was like, yes, now we're talking. Like even the Marvel stuff was like I was happy about, but Star Wars, I was like, yes. And then
until they came out with movies.
And then yeah. What how's it going, guys?
Star Wars movies.
Broke my
fail. Wait, so what are you working on now, man?
So actually, I'm working on redoing my website. It's like 10 years old now, and it's super embarrassing. So I recommend not going there. But I'm working with someone redesigning my website and just simplifying it, streamlining it. I got a few things going. New toy projects coming out. Today just got released. You guys are familiar with Super Plastic and Janky Toys, so they just put out today that the Series 3 that I'm a part of.
Oh,
I have a design in that.
Gotta look it up.
Some collaborations, a few collaborations with people. Yeah.
Who are you collaborating with?
So
or are you not allowed to say?
So I can talk. It's sort of in an infancy stage right now. We have the designs already fleshed out. We're just waiting for the sculptor to be free, which is going to be early next month. But I'm working with a hip hop artist, Saya, SIYA, out of New York, and we're collaborating on a project together. She's a collector, and actually she found me through Pop Shop. Funny enough, and she just kind of messaged me, and like, you know, this was like this completely complimentary email, like, I love your stuff, and then we were just like chatting back and forth, and she's like, I've always wanted to make a toy, and I was like, well, you know, we could do a collaboration if you want, and then she was just like totally stoked on the idea. So I did some designs for her, and she was like, she was just blown away. Like, I think she was just excited about the opportunity to do it because she's a collector, and a lot of times collectors, they want to do toys. So I think the idea really was exciting for her. So, you know, I did some drawings and she liked them. And like I said, we're working on getting it sculpted, and then we'll go from there.
Cool.
Nice.
Awesome. So I guess it's, you've been furloughed since March, or I mean.
Was it March? Yeah.
Or something?
I think it was like late March 20th rings a bell for some reason.
And and they haven't said anything, or do they just kind of renew you month by month? Like, do they say another month, Scott?
No, you know what's actually frustrating? Without going in, I don't want to like bash Disney too much, but I mean, I will say that what is frustrating is it's complete silence. There's nothing. There's no communication, and it's weird because I see both sides to it. Like if you're Disney, it's like, okay, well, we don't have anything to tell you because we don't know. But at the same time, it's like, okay, well, you have all these cast members that are, you know, their anxiety's high, and they're still your employees. So like any sort of like words to like calm them down or whatever is like very much appreciated. Like help us out here. So it's been a little frustrating. I'm trying to just stay logical about it all, and like, they can't do anything, so they're not going to say anything, but it would be nice to have some sort of, you know, everyone wants to know, like, I feel like at this point, like it feels like this at least, that everyone's back to work except for me. Like I go out and it's like everybody's work. Like, I mean, even in Orange County, you know, because I live right on the border of like OC and LA. So our Trader Joe's is in Orange County. Like, a lot of the restaurants we go to in Orange County, and I was just over there a couple days ago, just driving around, and I didn't realize they had lifted some of the bans. So I drove by a gym, and there's like a line outside, and I'm like, what the hell? Like a gym? And like a movie theater's by us too. There's people going to the movie theater, and I'm like, and then I was just thinking, like, dude, if you can go into a movie theater, like that's this enclosed like area for 2.5 hours, why can't you go to Disneyland that's mostly outside? You know, it feels weird, and you can have all those restrictions and everything to still make it work. But I just feel, and it could be because Disneyland's sort of like the last, you know, domino to drop, I guess, before everybody feels like everyone's safe. Maybe it's something like that. I'm not sure.
So so that means you manage the actors also? Like, do you handle that part?
No.
Oh, you don't? Like all the people that are wearing costumes and stuff?
Oh, no. That's
okay.
No, that's a whole different department. I'm just a designer, art director guy. I don't have anything to do with sort of that end of things.
I see.
Yeah.
Wow. Scary. Well, that doesn't sound good, but okay. That sounds rough, but okay. Well.
Yeah.
Not surprised.
You know, I'm keeping busy, and like my family's good. Everybody's good. So I don't. the hardships here are very minimal. Like, luckily, like, we're all good at being home together, and there's, my kids are at a young enough age where they still play with each other. They don't really fight too much, so we're doing good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Good to know. I was reflecting on like when I first like got to know you, Scott, and like I think that was around the time when you were still doing those plushes. I forgot what they were called. Yes.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I don't know what
that's called.
What was that line called?
The Noselots.
Yeah, the Noselots.
Yeah, so it's my last name backwards, essentially.
And then like that's a great name. That is a pretty great name. And then like, but after like that, you suddenly like and you did like vinyl versions of some of them as well, and you did like a bunch of designs that kind of felt like were in sync with the Noselot kind of aesthetic. But then like around I don't know, how long was it? Like maybe like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, you kind of like suddenly made like this jump into Sofubi, and you're like you kind of like just started doing a whole different like genre of like work and stuff like that. And I'm constantly impressed by artists who are able to kind of just let go of one thing and move in completely what feels like completely different directions. And you're self-producing this stuff too. You're not like working like with a like closely with like a Monkey King or a Kid Robot on some of those projects, like the Deadbeat Sofubi and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do you like? I'm just kind of curious, like your feelings about like the risks that kind of like are associated with those kind of transitions, and like how do you deal with it, or I mean like how do you like how can you like just like invest so much in a like almost kind of like a theory, like I really like this design, I have no idea if it's going to sell well, but I'm just going to freaking do it anyways, and it's going to cost me thousands of dollars to create it.
Yeah, so some of the stuff is self-produced, some of it's not. All the Sofubi pretty much is.
Right.
But as far as like the question of jumping around, I think, I mean, to put it simply, like I get bored with doing one like a thing, and it's just a personal thing, and it's also a challenge thing. So like, because I have the Disney gig sort of like paying the bills, like I feel like the toy thing is more of a hobby to me. So I'm not really concerned with failing, I guess, or like shitty toys, because I know I've made some really shitty toys that I don't even want to like look at or think about again. So again, but that's like part of the process, right? It's like you got to do that before like, oh, I can't do that again. But like, can I show Luke? I think you've seen my next piece that's coming out with 3D Retro. You mind?
I don't think so.
Can I plug? I think.
Go ahead. No.
Oh, plug it.
Go for it. Yeah.
So like, this is actually on the boat right now, coming over. Whoa, that light is bright.
Whoa.
Oh,
cool. Wow, it's big.
Yeah. Wow.
Let me turn this thing off.
That looks epic.
Preferences. Sorry, I'm going to turn off this virtual background.
Oh.
There we go. But this is the Imperial Lotus Dragon. Yeah, this thing is like insane. This is a vinyl piece that I with 3D Retro. And it just wrapped up production last week. So it's actually on the boat coming over right now.
Cool.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. It's I would say this is the most elaborate toy that I've worked on. Each one of these like little pedals up here is its own individual piece.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I think I counted it one time. I think there's 32 individual pieces on this. Yeah.
Wow.
So,
And
yeah,
yeah.
This is one piece. The nose is one piece. It has a tongue. The teeth are one piece. The eyebrows are one piece. That the horn's a piece. This is a piece. This is like 10 or so pieces. Yeah,
that's a nightmare.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's going to be like $2,000 or how much is that?
No, I don't know what I think. So here's one colorway. We're only making 100 of each is the plan.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't actually know exactly what the
retail
is, but I think it's going to be around 200.
Right.
That's cool.
And it'll come in like a magnetic flip case box with foam, so like a premium box that it's going to come in with like a little story with it and everything.
Nice.
But yeah, so this is like the darker version.
Wow. That's impressive.
There's got to be a glow in the dark in there, man. You gotta throw in that glow in the dark.
So what's funny is the way we were able to get these made, it kind of worked out to our advantage because when I sent out for a quote for this job came in at $80,000 to make.
Jesus.
Yeah. So what I had to do was, so the factory that we're working with, he came back with like 80 grand. And I was like, we're not even close. Like, we're not even close. So what we decided on is, he liked the piece so much that he's like throwing in some money if he gets 2 colorways. It's 2 China exclusive colorways. So what we're doing is these are exclusive to the US, and China's getting 2 colorways, and one of those both of those colorways are glow in the dark.
So wait, this guy at the factory has a shop too?
Yeah, I went through the factory. So the guy that's making them, the guy in China that's making them.
Right. So the guy in China that's making them wants an exclusive colorway that he sells himself in China?
Yeah, I guess he has a distributor. I'm not sure who his distributor is, but
wow.
I think they do toys occasionally.
So it's like so you get 100 of each, and he's like going to sell 10,000 of each in China, probably. Yeah.
Probably. But you know what? I thought about that too, because I'm like, man, if this thing like, I mean, who knows how it's going to do? But like, if it does well over there, like, who's to say he's not going to make like 1,000 or something?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. Or 10,000.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Like that is kind of like dancing with the devil there, Scott.
But you know what? But here's the thing. To be honest, like doing any production in China is risky. You don't know. I mean, even with these. He could do bootlegs of them. How am I going to know?
Yeah.
I'm sure Brian Donnelly can attest to that. So,
Coswatch.
Coswatch. Okay, a sidebar story. So this morning I got a text from Kano, and he's like, look at you pulling this Brian Donnelly shit with drawings, giant robot, $900 and something each, and I'm like. I wake up and I look at this text and I'm like, who the fuck is Brian Donnelly? And then I searched Brian Donnelly, and it was like this one-year prime minister from New Zealand, and I'm like, that can't be right. And so I had to actually text him and like, well, who the fuck is Brian Donnelly? But no, well, dude, that's a freaking great piece. You really should do a red and gold version of it. And you shouldn't do an antiqued version that looks like it's like an oxidizing bronze.
So
copper.
That one, we're not doing that one. But you said red and gold. I'll send you a picture of one of their exclusives because
it's one of their include.
So what? Okay, so here this kind of irritates me. So I picked these colorways out, and they're great. And then they wanted to. So I let them pick out their own colorway. That's the other thing is like they get to do what. The 2 exclusives, they get to do their colorway. So they picked a fire and an ice sort of situation. So they used glow in the dark, metallics, translucents, and I'm missing
all the great art toy
is there like
packed into one.
Is there going to be
every gimmick? But
Is there gonna be like a jade version? Because I figured that could also be a jade thing.
Yeah, like
know?
a translucent milky green.
Yeah,
like that
it's like they got it in China. It's already done.
Yeah, they're probably making it right now.
they're on the shelves. Every yeah.
It's probably for sale there already. I don't know. Like,
could be. It's a Happy Meal toy. It's like buy the burger, you get this Scott Tolleson lion.
They've taken the entire sculpt and made a story out of it, and like there's an IP over there completely.
There's a theme park.
Yeah. It's interesting because like that, I think like that design style kind of falls into like this third wave Scott Tolson like aesthetic. Because like the first one is obviously is like the Nozelots. The second one is like the Sofubi stuff, and then like following up with like some of the dragon stuff that you've done on Dunnies, and then you used to do a lot of projects with Kid Robot back in the day too. You know.
Well, what the factory told me, what they liked about the idea is that it takes sort of the Eastern aesthetic, and what the factory owner told me is it's like the idea of the dragon and everything, which is very like Eastern with the Western twist on it. So and it's weird because you know how touchy things are now with society. I like doing the piece. I'm like, oh man, I hope no one thinks that I'm like there's like
culturally appropriating.
Yeah, because it's not, because it is authentic where it comes from. Because I was telling the story growing up, my grandmother was really into Asian just decor, like going to her house. I remember like just being fascinated as a kid with like all the stuff in her house and all the little trinkets and everything that she collected. So I always wanted to go over there, like just to see what new stuff she had. So that's sort of where I guess it comes into play, and like why I love just that aesthetic. So yeah, I don't want anyone to think that I'm like, because I know it's very different from a lot of other stuff that I do. But like, I mean, for me, that like I show that piece off more than any other piece, just because of I feel like it's more personal than a lot of other things that I do.
Right. Well,
you get the pass from the Asians here. The Asians back you. It's okay.
Nice.
Well, like I think cultural, quote unquote, cultural appropriation is like a double-edged sword, right? Like, on one hand, it kind of brings people together. On the other hand, like, and it all depends on its application, right? If it's done in homage and respect and appreciation, that's one thing. But if it's done to slight or to belittle or to whatever, that's a completely different thing.
Right. Well, you can tell when things are authentic or not, I think. I mean, you can tell if someone is going to a Halloween party, right, and they're like doing this thing that they don't really know why they're dressing this way. It just looks cool, versus like someone that like has a authenticity about their story.
Even that, like if a person doesn't really even get it, but likes the look, then I think that's fine personally. But like if you're like running around, you put the buck teeth in and going, oh, I'm so sorry, like that's
man, you do that well. Damn it, too good.
Fresno really like nailed that one home for me.
I can't really laugh at that, so I'm just
yeah. You're doing a good job. That straight face is like it's working.
Yeah,
keep that one. Yeah.
I would just smile.
Yeah,
but like I think that's like I think that's a completely different thing.
It comes from the heart, right? That's kind of part of it.
Right.
I mean, Kano also did the Colin Kaepernick kind of sculpture, right? The kind of like a Black Lives Matter Colin Kaepernick kneeling, and it's done by Kano, half what is it? Asian, half Ecuadorian.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it comes from the heart, and that's kind of what it's all about too. So
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that's kind of what it all means. So ultimately, I'm good with it, man.
We are okay, Scott.
I didn't ask anybody's permission when I did it. So.
Well, put it this way: a factory in China is you're practically partnering with a factory in China on it.
Yeah.
They invented that shit, so it all comes full circle.
Right. That'll be my story if anyone tries to take me down in a dark alley or anything. About
Well,
it.
It's a
there's
Happy
inevitably
Meal
gonna
in
be-
China.
I'm more than certain there's inevitably going to be some jackass
Really?
out there who's going to be
Yeah.
offended by whatever.
But you
Yeah?
know,
On that, you think so? With
Oh,
that
yeah.
figure? Wow.
People are looking
Okay.
for reasons
Yeah.
to be angry.
yeah.
You know?
And you
So-
know what? There could be people listening to this podcast that might just want to bust my balls later about it.
Nah, yeah, maybe. Well, I don't know. We'll see. It depends on, like, I mean, you don't fly off the cuff quite like I do. So, and I haven't felt any grief from it. You know.
Luke, you can't draw bears anymore. Those are from there's a white bear, so it's from Antarctica. So you.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Polar bears, you can't do
Polar
it.
bears,
Sorry. No. Not for you.
Oh no.
You have-
What am I
you have,
gonna do?
Appropriated the bear.
It's pandas or nothing.
Back to the pandas.
Anyways, yeah. So
But congrats. That looks cool, by the way. I mean, back to it. Bottom line, it looks really good. So
Thank you.
that's exciting. And it's crazy that's how many parts there are to it. That's wild.
yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, it's funny because the engineering of it, I think, is way more fascinating to me now. Like you go through phases, right? So like, you get all excited about the drawings and like how those are coming out, and then you're like, okay, well, I hope the sculptor can nail it. And then when the sculptor nails it, then you're like, oh, this is great. This is exactly what I was thinking. And then when it goes to the factory and you see all the parts, and then it's like the engineering side of your brain kicks into gear, and it's like, whoa, how did he decide to put that in there and not like this? And why is this one piece and not two pieces? And then, so yeah, it's pretty insane how many molds, and like they sent me one that just came into pieces, and it was just in a box with like 2 bags like this, and with no instructions. And luckily for me, I knew like where pieces go, but I couldn't imagine like, it was like a puzzle. Like if you just gave that to some random person and said, make this thing, like I'm not sure they could do it.
Especially those scales going down the spine, right? Like because they start off like small and they get larger, and then they probably taper down again.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So,
But you know what? They're actually numbered, which is good.
Like in the plug.
In the bottom. Yeah, where you don't see it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah. So look at this, guys. Look at what's right here next to me.
Oh,
Ooh,
hey!
the original.
Yeah, yes. I
Wow.
got one. I've got another one. It's funny because so we did these paintings. So Scott and I, like when we we started hanging out, we were like, oh, we should like collaborate on something. And we tried to we were at the time, like Scott was doing a lot of the knows a lot stuff, and obviously I'm still doing the bear thing. But like we were like, oh, let's just merge these two worlds together, and so it was kind of like the sad culture meets nerd culture kind of
which are very tied in together a lot of times.
Right, exactly. And we tried doing a plush, which didn't do very well, but like it's a learning experience. And
you have to add the caveat. The reason why it's because it was a plush.
It was a plush, and it was a 3D retro plush, and I love Ben to death. I do. Like everything he's done for the community is freaking amazing. Like from Designer Con to the last standing art toy store in Southern California.
But. Oh, I thought it was leading to a butt. But
it's leading up to the butt. I'm leading it up.
I was like cutting to the chase real quick. I was like, but
until recently, and I mean recently, meaning like before Pop Shop started doing its thing, he just didn't. I don't think he really had the time to promote his projects. I mean, like obviously, like he's also like a co-owner of another company, USA ePay. So like having your time divided between like your day job and your passion project, is going to be tough. So,
but I
creating excuses for him. So,
but no, I think
he doesn't need any.
Plushes are a hard sell, and I say that knowing like other people that sell. I mean, unless you're like Flat Bonnie, unless you're Flat Bonnie, like plushes are like super a hard sell. And I think that we talked about this before. Like I think if we had made this an actual like vinyl figure, I think it would have done much better. But I don't know. I think we chose the plush because I don't even know why we chose the.
I think we chose the plush because I had not done a plush yet, and B, you were kind of like you had like plush hookups, and for the Nozalots, and like as for Flat Bonnie, she sells a lot of plush, but like I think she's paying for it with just how much work she has to do, like with every event. Like I don't even want to imagine what her studio is like a week before an event kicks in, because like it must be materials everywhere. It must be like her
sometimes she's sewing at the booth or something like that, sometimes making more stuff. So but that's because they're selling it.
She's hustling. She's definitely hustling, but like like it's I would love to see like her productions like be sold for a lot more than what they're selling for, but because it's a plush, there's a ceiling to where those prices go.
Oh, I gotta show you guys this. Speaking of plush, so there's a fan of mine that's a fan of mine and of hers that commissioned her to do this without me knowing, and it just showed up at my house one day.
Oh, sweet.
So this is the dragon, the dragon I just showed you, but this is all like hand sewn
individual pieces.
Wow.
Pieces of flesh in there.
Wait, who made that?
Flat
Bonnie.
Oh.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. So
wow.
So he commissioned her to do this, and again,
that's insane.
Yeah, like look at all this like cut out. It's just wild.
That's insane.
Wow.
That is awesome. With all the scaling and everything.
Yeah. So I have this hanging right above my drawing table, actually.
I think that's actually one of the things cool. I also liked that she's been kind of exploring is like a lot of the 2D, 3D kind of relief, wall hanging stuff. We should have her on sometime.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah. But dang, freaking. Yeah. So so one of the things that you seem to be kind of like into like certain trends. I remember like when the Epstein didn't kill himself thing.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Was big. You were like you were down with the memes.
Wait, what did you do? You created a meme or something? I remember now that you mentioned it. I kind of forgot what it was, but
honestly, like
you did something.
I don't even know why that stuck with me, but like people still send me things today about
it.
What? People still send me the because like occasionally they still come out, but Facebook is a weird place. I just reposted a lot of memes, and like I don't know how I became the Epstein guy. Well, I do because I post a lot of memes.
But you didn't create the memes? I thought you created some of them.
I don't think I did.
You don't think so?
I don't remember.
All I know is, I thought when I saw it, I was like, oh, I thought it was something you did. So the whole time.
Well, maybe that's why people think I am the Epstein guy. No, I didn't create.
You're the Epstein guy.
Yeah. No, I just became fascinated with it because, like, I don't know. Everyone has political stuff, opinions about things, but like that thing, obviously it's a meme, and like who knows what really happened, but like if you get down to it, like it is no one believes that he really killed himself.
And then like and then you also like got like we're really into the Dune thing.
Like, I still am, man. I am freaking pumped right now.
Right.
We were talking about the Dune thing. So like, so I read Dune when I was a younger adult, and it's just it's a it's a masterpiece. It's a masterpiece in science fiction, and I'm one of those rare guys that I love the books and I even love the David Lynch movie.
Yeah.
Because I was I'm a David Lynch fan, and just adding that aesthetic to that story, like I get it. Like it should have been a longer movie, which is what he wanted to do. But but yeah,
like a 3-hour movie, and
and they trimmed it down.
Yeah, to an hour and a half.
But yeah, I fought, I don't know. I just love Dune, and it's all. I mean, especially since Star Wars sort of got knocked down a peg in my interest book. Like Dune is like spiking up, and like with the announcement and the release of the movie come out later this year, like I'm super pumped about it.
Yeah, it looks good. Have you seen it? You've seen the trailer, right, Eric?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What do you think?
It looks interesting. I too read that book. I think I was in junior high when I read it, the Dune book. So, no, I'm excited to see it. No doubt. I could reread the book by now though, because I kind of like the story itself is a little fuzzy in my memory now.
Well, it's really rich with detail. I mean, it's essentially like Lord of the Rings, like but in space. As far as like it has a glossary in the back, and I probably need to reread it too because it's been so long.
I think the David Lynch version of the movie has completely tainted the way, whenever I think of like the characters, I think of like the David Lynch movie. When I think of
Sting, you're like Sting.
Like yeah.
You tantric master.
Or like when I think of the still suits, I think of the David Lynch still suits. When I think of the sandworms, I think of the David Lynch sandworms. When I
it's time that'll change.
Well, the Guild Navigator, right? That's super like ingrained in my brain, and like how because they did, like we were talking about this, they did the made for TV on Sci-Fi Sci-Fi Channel years ago, and like they had the Guild Navigator on that, and I was like, that's not how he looks. Like he's just way too humanoid looking, which he kind of is in the books, but like that's probably closer to how he looks in the books, but like because the David Lynch version was so like surreal and gnarly
and over the top.
Yeah.
And it's I remember a long time ago there used to be like this indie like video store that like specialized in cult films, and they had a super long version of Dune. I don't know whether or not it was the 5-hour version or like but I remember renting it about 3 times just to like.
Was that like a bootleg thing, or did they release it?
It was like they actually changed the name of the director. Because David Lynch didn't want anything to do with that cut.
Yeah, it was Alan Smithy.
Oh,
was it like, so it wasn't some Sweded thing? It wasn't like a bunch of kids making it up, like.
No, the version that Luke's talking about. It's for people that don't know the story, like it's a very good. It's a great watch because there's a lot of like concept art that sort of fills in the blanks of like some of the story. And then I think it is like 5 hours long. I remember it being
wow.
Yeah, I've watched it a couple times. I actually have it on video cassette.
Nice.
But because it's 5 hours, I've only watched it a couple times. But it definitely fills in the story more, like all those gaps. Because I know that for me, when I watch it, it all makes sense because I've read the books. But like, I can imagine just going in, no idea, watching the David Lynch version, being like,
yeah, what is that thing?
Yeah, I think that's what killed the sci-fi version for me. Like I tried watching the sci-fi version, and like I saw their still suits. I saw like like the Guild Navigator and stuff, and I'm like, I can't watch this. This is just too far removed from my understanding of Dune for me to stuff.
Since we're talking about Dune, I have an interesting theory. After seeing some of the new characters come out and the trailer, so we all know that the Harkonnen are all redheads, right? But if you look at the new trailer, the Baron is bald. Fade is bald.
Wait, Fade's not in there yet.
Not Fade.
The Beast.
The Beast. Yeah, the Beast is bald. So I have this like theory that they're not going to have any redheads in there because if the Harkonnens are all red, that's a like gingers are all bad kind of thing.
But they are.
But you know what I mean? If they did, so if they came out with that movie now and like all the bad guys have red hair, don't you think that would be like a weird thing that someone could potentially complain about?
Not really.
No.
No, because they're just redheads, you know. Like, you know, like it's not like, you know. I mean, like you had mentioned this before, and I was kind of going, "What?" And then like, and the more I thought about it, I was kind of like, you know.
Maybe it's just me overthinking it, but I think what spawned it is because I was like, those two characters didn't have the red hair, and when I think of the Harkonnen, I think of the fiery red hair, and like,
wow,
why was that left out in this version? And I'm sure, you know, it's probably not what I'm saying. I'm sure there may be some other reason to it, but it just made me like scratch my head.
Well, you know, I think the question is why is House Atreides so pretty, and why is House Harkonnen so grotesque? Why does it have to be that way? It doesn't have to be that way. You could like make House Harkonnen beautiful, really easy on the eyes.
The Harkonnens are the bad guys, Luke. They're always ugly. You know, it just goes back to Masters of the Universe, like He-Man versus Skeletor, right?
See, you know, that was one of the toy lines that I never like could get myself like excited about. Like I was really into Transformers. I was really into G.I. Joe, but like, you know, as soon as I saw those like 5.5-inch, 6-inch, you know, Masters of the Universe figures, and I just saw those unrealistic body types, you know. I felt like they were setting a new male standard of beauty that I just couldn't ever like, you know, live up to, and I refuse to, you know, contribute to that.
And I think you might be tapping onto why like us Gen X males are so depressed because we could never live up to those He-Man standards.
I agree. I completely agree. Like, you know,
was it the same? You think it was the same mold the whole time, except for just a different head and different color?
Yeah,
it's exactly the same.
A lot of it reused the same arms and legs. Even like, yeah, I know like Stinkor and Merman are like the exact same molds. They're just painted differently.
What?
Yeah,
I could have sworn that Merman had like webbed hands or something like that.
So does Stinkor.
He's got webbed hands too.
Yeah. And webbed feet.
And webbed feet?
Yeah.
He's supposed to be a skunk. He's like a skunk.
I know. Look, the heads are the same. The heads are exactly the same. Merman is just green, and then Stinkor has the white sort of like things going over here and here to cover. Yeah, it's all the same.
So like when Mattel started re-releasing the Four Horsemen version of Master of the Universe, I didn't buy any, but I used to like watch review videos of them just because like, you know, there was some kind of weird nostalgic like connection to it. Like I had a cousin who collected, you know, Masters of the Universe, and I think, and so I became familiar with a lot of the, you know, the character designs over the years. And so like kind of looking at, like I used to watch Pixel Dan's videos. Pixel Dan used to you know, review them, and he would he would pull out the old figure and he'd pull out the new figure, and he'd pull out a figure that came out in between there that I didn't know existed, and like, you know, compare all of them. And I was like, wow, like, you know, it's interesting just because of the fact that it has that aesthetic of the old figure, but it is light years ahead of that old figure in proportions, in design, and, you know, everything else like that. And, you know, which is just credit to the Four Horsemen for their amazing, you know, sculpting and design.
Yeah. So those are amazing. I have some of them, not in my studio, but in boxes. But it's just like, I'm just really bad about falling into the nostalgia, like re-release of toy things, like with the Transformers. Like some like Boba Fett's and Hulk's, like I just don't even think about it. If I just see it in the store, I know it's coming out, I just buy it. And
yeah, I know you're a big Hulk guy.
Yeah, I am a big Hulk guy.
So that's probably the Masters of the Universe rubbing off on you.
So I bought a Hulk recently, my latest Hulk, and I think he kind of looks like me in the face a little bit, but I could be making that up. But someone else told me that he kind of did too.
I guess.
Wow.
Yeah, I guess.
Wow.
The beard.
Khal Drogo.
Yeah,
it's Khal Drogo.
Yeah, even the hair's down like that, you know. Like if I turn into the Hulk.
Oh, you just need that kiss makeup going.
Is that Jason Momoa Hulk?
Yeah.
I can see
it.
It
kind of looks like him. Yeah. So like this is from a Marvel video game that came out that I won't play, but since it's a Hulk, I have to buy it.
Wait, that mean you collect Hulk? Like is like a thing you've been collecting for a long time?
Yeah. And it sucks.
Wow.
It sucks because they're always massive and they take up so much space. Yeah, I've always just loved the Hulk as a kid. It's my favorite superhero.
Wow.
I've been collecting. I have so many freaking Hulks.
And Boba
Fett.
And Boba Fett.
Or Mandalorians.
Now it's Mandalorian. See, that's what I mean. Like I only have seen one season of The Mandalorian, but even if it sucked, I would have bought the Mandalorian figures just because they look like Boba Fett, you know.
Wait, so you have a thing? It's that like Spartan helmet and like the backpack, the rocket backpack that just like really speaks to you. It's
the nostalgia because I mean I remember when the mail-in figure came out after A New Hope, they did a mail-in Boba Fett and no one knew who he was. And I remember just getting it in the mail in the little white box, that on the back of the card, you send in however many you can see and getting it in, and I just remember having that, keeping him in the box all the time so it didn't get messed up, and not moving the joints, wanting to keep them straight so they didn't get loose. I was crazy as a kid, and I mean with that stuff.
I was like that too.
Yeah, I with my toys, I was super, because they've always kind of been my friends. I know it's sad to say, but my toy collection as a kid, like if I had cousins coming over or anyone, like you can't go in my room unless I'm there, and you definitely can't play with my toys if I'm not there to watch you.
Right.
Wow.
Right. Yeah. No, yeah, wow. I get it. It's like because they're things that they don't come easily. Even though at the time they're only $3.50 a piece.
Yeah.
Toys just did not come easily, and so every figure you buy is a deliberate choice, and you are incredible. You have to be very careful with them.
Your mom's not going to buy you a new one if your cousin breaks it. It's just like, nope, it's broken. Sorry, glue it back together.
Yeah, I remember as a kid, going through the rack at whatever toy section I was at, and choosing the paint, on on figures.
Wow.
Just to make sure the eyes were perfectly lined up, and stuff like that. It's and that's the reason why you have an entire generation of freaking toy people out here.
But that's also why I think our generation is just totally cool with hanging out at home all the time because we have all the stuff we need at home, right?
We're talking about Scott and I were talking about this a couple nights ago, and I can't help but feel for anyone under the age of 30, right now, not being able to go out, not being able to
fuck
see
them.
their friends.
No, this is the adversity you've got to live with. I mean, this isn't this is this time, but there's other disasters. People have wars. I mean, there's tons of things.
Yeah.
Get over yourself.
Wow. Do you really feel that way, Eric, or just?
Yeah.
Okay.
Get over yourself. Come on. Help other people for once by staying inside. You don't have to go see your friends and go have a big party in the Hollywood Hills. You don't have to do those things.
Well, you don't have to go have a party in the Hollywood Hills, but
so they're doing it.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're being really fucking stupid, but it's
that's what I'm saying. Yes, that's what they're being. They're being stupid, exactly.
Yeah, but it's another thing to you
have to go out You can't stay home? Come on.
There's
people with like sick family members that can't go out and they're in their 20s, right?
Yeah.
Right. But like, well, that's a different situation, right?
Yep. This one is a pandemic. Stay at home. That's all. That's all. You'll go out next year or the year after, and you can go out the year after that maybe, and the year after that. You'll be okay.
I think I feel bad for my kids because they're 8 and 11, and like they don't get to see their friends. So like but luckily for me, I think if I were like between a 5 and a 16-year-old, and you were like a single child, I think that's rough because at least my kids have each other to play with.
Yeah.
And they're like they're on Zooms with their friends and stuff, but like it does kind of suck because thinking about that age, like if you can't do sleepovers, you can't go swimming at someone else's house, like
You'll go next year. It'll be all right. Anyway, so you have a fan out there named Philip Dahl. Do you know Philip Dahl?
Yeah.
This person's got a lot of questions. Can we start can I fire away at some of these? Philip Dahl's been waiting for a long time.
Okay.
One, what's the oldest Hulk you have, like of all your Hulk stuff?
So I have a Mego Hulk from the 70s. It's like not in good condition at all. It's really tore up and it can't even stand up. So I have to sit him down. But that's my oldest Hulk.
Okay, next. Did you ever ride the Hulk ride in Adventure Island?
Yes, I have a couple times.
Is that probably the best roller coaster, as Philip Dahl says?
It's not the best roller coaster. It's fun, but it's like super kind of comic book cheesy Hulk, which is fun, but it's not the best. Okay,
thoughts on the new He-Man Netflix series?
I'm excited about it. It's the Kevin Smith one. We'll see what he does. I mean,
Kevin Smith? Really?
Yeah, I think he's involved. I can't remember if he's a producer or writer. I think he's the producer, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. He's involved at some level, though.
All right, there'll be some interesting dialogue, maybe, and we'll see. We'll see.
Have Jay and Bob as
make an appearance.
Did you get any of the Dune toys? I think this is from old Dune toys.
Yeah, I have the original 1984. I have the entire. So this is insane. I have the entire collection of action figures, and I have the Dune sandworm all still in package, mint on card.
What?
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, and they're so old now. Like, so the Harkonnen. So some of the bubbles are yellowing. Yeah. And like,
I thought you said buttholes, but okay, bubbles.
So buttholes are yellowing. No, the bubbles are yellowing, and some of the blisters are like starting to like come off the card because they're so old. But I'm not gonna like I was just in my storage unit a week and a half ago, and they're in there, and I opened the box, and Kathy, my wife, came with me, and I opened the box, and I went, "Look at that!" And she like did the whole eye roll thing, and I'd be like, you like that? That's sexy.
That's so cool. Hey, that's sexy, different era sexy. You know what I'm saying?
I showed her that.
Or maybe what's that?
I showed her that sandworm in the box, and I knew she was getting excited about that.
Yeah. This is alternative universe sexy, I guess you would say.
Right.
Where you could show like a comic book and go, look at this, bagged and boarded, and it's like, woo.
No finger creases.
Yeah, I've got Wolverine miniseries #1. Look, ooh. I don't know. Yeah, so different era.
Yeah.
Does Philip Dahl have anything else to say? To ask?
Anything else, Philip?
Oh, that was really those are the main. Those are like the lightning round questions by Philip Dahl. Yeah. Thank you,
Philip.
No, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Philip. Okay, so back to the pandemic. That means are you also forced, I guess? Well, it's home. There's schools at home now, right?
Yeah, the kids are at home, and my wife, who's also a 8th grade teacher, she's teaching from home. So
who's handling your kids on their Zoom school thing?
It's me. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I feel bad about. I mean, there's kids kind of can't see their friends, but then now you have like parents who would think, oh, the kids would be at school right now from 9 to 8 to 3 or whatever it is, and then that's your time to maybe do something. Now you're sort of homeschooling, right?
You know what? I'll be honest though. I am so lucky with my two that they're already on the schedule now, so they know to be logged on by 9 o'clock. They have their classes, then they know their break. They're completely responsible that way, where I don't have to like watch over them. They're even so good, like they'll, I'm not. They're bad in other things, but school is really good. Like they go through and they do their homework. Like we don't have to pressure them. They sort of have that already down.
Wow, who are these children?
They're
this
like,
is crazy.
You know what? They both take after my wife in that way, because I would be a mess if the children did that.
I mean, yeah, I figure, you can like play video games while you're like a handheld game while you're sort of supposed to be watching. And then you're lucky. But I just figure, I feel, so you could feel for kids that are a certain age. I do feel for parents, even though I'm not a parent, that now you're like homeschooling your kid practically, when you thought, oh, I'm going to have this time, the kids are going to be gone, now you're like, nope. I don't, and imagine if you have a job that, how are you supposed to do it? Like, what do people do? You got to hire somebody to like watch your kid while you go to work or something. And I don't know how that works.
Yeah. It's a weird, I feel guilty sometimes because like the kids will be doing school, and like, if I with whatever, I'm just my piddly stuff that I'm doing, like the toy stuff, like if I have some downtime or whatever, like the wife's teaching, the kids are in school, like doing the school, and I'm just like sitting there and I'm like, hi guys.
and Animal Crossing is no longer keeping you company anymore.
Animal Crossing is expired now, so no, it's a thing where I'm pretty good about like trying to keep myself busy and during those downtimes, like filling the time in without being too lazy. But
Scott Tolleson and I actually, all four members of what we refer to as the West Coast Toy Animal Crossing Club have been on the podcast, because we used to play daily with like Candy Bolton and Patrick Lamb, and now the circle is complete.
Yeah.
Can people find you guys? Is that easy to find on Animal Crossing?
Not really. You have to kind of advertise your like personal information.
Oh, okay. So I wasn't sure if you could just look up Luke Chu and then
no.
Luke Chu World. Here it is. No, it doesn't work that way.
No,
okay.
It doesn't work that way. And,
but we were hardcore for like, was it like a month or a month and a half even, or 2 months? Like I don't know. Like
no, it was from freaking April until July. April and May, 2 months. 2 months. And we're like every day we were like chatting with each other and like getting online, visiting each other's islands. And actually Philip Dahl is one of the people that like we befriended through Animal Crossing too.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess Philip Dahl just says you're quitters.
No, I beat the game. I got exactly where I wanted to get to, and I'm done. I beat it.
I never got where I wanted to go to. Wow. But I just kind of got really sick of it. Like I was just like, you know what? I can't do this anymore. I'm like, this is like eating. Well, also like I was working on the drawings show for Eric, and like I don't think Eric would have appreciated it if I like consumed 4 hours of my day to Animal Crossing when I should have been drawing. So you're welcome, Eric. I sacrificed Animal Crossing for you.
And you went Brian Donnelly on the pricing, which is great. Everything's good.
I don't think I went Brian Donnelly on the pricing at all.
I like how Kano goes by that actual name instead of just saying
Oz.
Yeah, it's so fun. It's so weird. It's like first name basis or real name basis.
Yeah.
I guess that's a New York thing. I don't,
I guess. I
don't get it.
They probably knew each other on a non-street knit level, street name kind of level.
They drank tea together.
Yes.
Brian. Brian.
Kano.
Tally ho.
What do you think of my graffiti artworks?
I got all these books from Eric Nakamura, but he's not going to see a penny.
That's exactly it. Oh no.
Nobody listens to the show, right? Like, we're good, right?
Wait, do I even know Kano's real name?
No, Kano's Kano.
That's his real. That's not his real name.
No,
right?
it's not. His real name is Danny.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, Danny.
I obviously don't know him that well.
See, they probably speak to each other on that.
Yeah.
Brian, Donnelly, Denny.
I think it's because I'm white. He feels like he can be like, oh, my real name's Danny, and I won't like. I'll be like, oh, that's cool. You're not really Kano.
Because he had a character apparently named after him on Adventure Time because he worked on that series, which was Kano, like the gigantic guy, who was part of the father's team, not the father, like the original Doctor, not Adventure Time. I'm thinking of Venture Brothers. He worked on Venture Brothers, and he had a character named after him on that, which is another thing that like kind of bummed me out. Was Venture Brothers had been canceled from Adult Swim. Did you ever watch that show, Eric?
No.
Oh my God, it's
called
good.
Adventure Brothers.
Adventure, like V as Venture Brothers.
Oh, Venture Brothers.
Yeah. It was on Adult Swim for 17 years.
What?
Yeah,
I never heard of it.
Yeah, it was only 7 seasons. So like they came out with a season like every 2 years, 2 or 3 years. And like it started off kind of like, okay, it's this kind of remake of what's his name? Johnny
Quest.
Johnny Quest.
Yeah, it's
but
like a parody of Johnny Quest.
Yeah, but like because like at the time, like, a lot of shows like C-Lab 2020 and Space Ghost Coast to Coast, the Brack Show were coming out, and it was like it felt like they were just basically like rehashing old animation from Hanna-Barbera and like throwing it into this crazy adult context.
Wow.
But then they did Venture Brothers, and like by the second or third seasons, it really just started kind of like they took all these like weird divergent elements from the first season and just started tying it all together into this like
And Kano worked on that.
And Kano worked on it, and
awesome.
Like there's a character that doesn't speak, which is kind of funny because Kano's kind of loud. And and he's like 7 feet tall, which is funny because Kano's not 7 feet tall.
They should have called him Onak, like Kano backwards.
Yeah.
But like it works. The name Kano actually works for this character, and apparently he was named after it.
Cool.
So
awesome.
He was named after Kano. And he was like the gentle giant who like was not gentle when in a pinch or something like that.
Do you remember Super Jail? Did you ever watch that?
I did.
I missed that show. There was Super Jail and Wonder Chosen.
Oh, Wonder Chosen. I know that one.
Yeah.
Never saw Wonder Chosen.
Wonder Chosen would not, dude, if they put Wonder Chosen on right now, even though it's on Adult Swim, like it would not last. Like it would be canceled so quick.
Those guys that did Wonder Chosen were I went to San Francisco State for 1 semester, and I was in a Super 8 film class, and those 2 guys, they were in that class.
Oh, nice.
The creators of Wonder Chosen. Yeah. I mean, once in a while they come to GR, like separately, but I'll see them.
Yeah.
It's a guy named John and a guy named Vern, and yeah, once in a while I see them. I think they both live in LA maybe.
Oh, that show.
But yeah, that was fucked up, man.
Yeah.
That show.
Yeah, it was. Luke, you have to look that one up.
It's out of control.
I will.
These guys were strange then. They're strange in college, so that's not a surprise when I saw that. And they were I think they lived in New York then, but I think they live in LA now. I don't know what they do, but yeah, those guys are insane.
They co-own freaking Tit Wrench or something like that now. Who knows? Tit Wrench, because like it seemed like a lot of the animation.
Titmouse
or Titmouse, maybe. Yeah.
No, they do. I don't think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tit Wrench was a band. Yeah.
Yeah.
Orange County, maybe, right? Orange County, maybe, something like that.
Or San Diego, I think.
Maybe. Yeah. I just know. Yeah. I'm familiar.
I used to be a fan of Tit Wrench and Kid 606 and all those weird San Diego.
And then all that turned into DJ music, right? It went from like punk rock to DJ electronic, right? Like Kid 606 was like in punk rock bands and then turned into a DJ.
He turned into like a glitch music guy, and he's still releasing stuff, but it's all like very glitchy and ambient.
Like wasn't he in like Man is the Bastard, or he was in he was in punk rock bands before he went.
I think so. Miguel,
yeah, I think so.
Because I was actually friends with Miguel, K606, and
check it out. I think he might have been in these bands too beforehand.
Really? Man is the Bastard? No
Something like
way.
that, or I think it was a punk rock thing before he turned into a digital thing. But in the end, oh well. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that I think he was. So
that guy would like whenever I would like hang out with him. This is a long time ago. I'd come into town for concerts or something like that, and would hang out. He'd like give me like a small stack of like hentai comics, and like Super Fist Izumi, which is like a manga about like some schoolgirl who like fists like other girls.
Wow.
And he was an interesting guy. From my understanding, he actually had an Apple ad done where it was like all really glitchy and like fractured images, and because like I remember like I think a long time ago, like around the turn of the
turn of the century,
turn of the 21st century, in the aughts, like they were doing, or like at least in the late 90s, they were doing these Apple was doing these ads where they were featuring people who used Apple computers, and they would talk about like how great Apple computers are.
Wow.
And apparently like I don't know. That's
cool.
I it's been a long time.
Well, dude, what are those plush on your headboard?
Me?
Yeah.
There is
Flat Bonnie.
Are those
two Flat Bonnies, and then there's a Travis Lampy.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
So
wait, tell me about the video games behind you, Scott. That's kind of what I was tripping on here.
So these are arcade 1-up machines. They're like affordable, like 3/4 size arcade machines that you can get, and they run from like $300 to $500, $600. But these first two came out. This is a Rampage one. It has Rampage, Gauntlet, Joust, Defender. One next to it is Centipede. So it has Centipede, Missile Command, Crystal Castles, and Millipede. And this one on the far left, Star Wars. So it has all the vector stuff.
That looks full size though. The one on the right, it's full size.
No, you know what? It's 3/4 size, but it has a riser. It came with. So these you have to sort of sit on a bench,
gotcha.
Or you can buy a riser. But
wow, so you have an arcade.
That's very small. A very small one.
3/4 size. Yeah.
Make pizza and play video games while you're waiting.
Kano size arcade.
What? Oh my goodness!
Wait,
oh
so
my
you
goodness.
play Millipede on the Centipede machine?
Yeah. It has. So what's really cool about them is the emulators in them are very they're very good for what they are. So the joysticks feel it you play these games as a kid, like it will definitely like pull on your nostalgic heartstrings. But yeah, they're super fun. I just put them in here. Honestly, so I bought this Centipede one first when they came out, and I was like, cool, I got one, like I'm good, I can play with this. And then this Rampage one I got for it came on sale for $200. So I was like, shit, I have to get that one. And then the Star Wars one came out, and I was like, well, I have to get that one too. But but the reason they're in here is because Kathy won't let me put them.
So which one do you tend to play the most? Like, is there one, or are you sick of them all now?
No, I played the Centipede one the most.
You play Centipede, or are you playing Millipede?
Both.
Or are you playing Missile Command? You get Missile Command in there too, right?
Yeah, that one less. I played Centipede and Millipede probably the most. But the reason I bought the Centipede one too, which is because I love the artwork. So especially on the side of it. So that's part of the reason I bought it too, is just for like because I love the artwork, but now you can't even see it because it's like sandwiched between the other.
Can you control the difficulties of the games? Like, because, like the arcade, I know that there's multiple difficulties.
Yeah, you can't. It's very authentic to the original. So what you can control is like the brightness, the sound. The Star Wars one has a weird thing where you can play it OG, but then like there's different settings where it has like fades or like glows to the vector. So it has like settings like that. But the actual games themselves are very similar to
okay.
We're like,
oh, good. No, because like I think the arcade games though, long ago you were able to make them more difficult if they chose to do that.
Yeah.
Because I remember like there's patterns to the game, sort of, kind of.
Right.
Some games literally have patterns, but then if they speed it up, you got to know how to adjust for those.
I know the Star Wars one you can adjust because that was in the old version. You could do easy, normal, or hard.
Wow.
And I think maybe some of the other ones have that too, but it's not like it's not like a new feature. It was a feature that was probably always incorporated.
Yeah,
into the original.
That's cool.
Yeah.
If there was the Tempest one, I'd probably pick up that one.
That's very cool.
I like Tempest.
I love Tempest.
That's a beautiful game. Like if you think about the way it looked.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so beautiful. It just looks neat
all around. Was one of those games where I could play for a while too.
Yeah.
Like that's why I loved it, because it wasn't like a quarter eater. It was like you could play it for a good amount of time.
Right.
It was not like what was it called? Like a Dirk the Daring. Why can't I think of it?
Well, like Defender or Stargate? I'd get my butt kicked in those.
Like the cartoon game, Dragon's Lair.
Oh.
Dragon's Lair.
That's 2 quarters, I believe, right?
Yeah, it was 2 quarters, and it just sucked your quarters like crazy.
Yeah, that is like a lot of cinematics in it and stuff. So
yeah, I remember like loving to watch people play it because people that were good at it, you could watch the entire movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
Space Ace and Dragon's Lair. You could actually, I've found videos of them on YouTube of like the full playthroughs, which has and they will show like if there's a unique animation for like dying, they will play that too, like, and then they'll show how when you get through it. So like they pack in all the different cutscenes and everything like that into like one, like what is essentially like 15-minute animation. It's not very long.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sounds good. For a second, I don't know if I want to watch that, but maybe.
There was
Dragon's Lair is cool.
The movie Lupin III, Castle of Cagliostro. There used to be a video game of that was the animation. They did the same kind of thing with
I've heard of that. I've never played it, but I remember I saw like a video of it basically.
Yeah, I played it when I had an aunt who had restaurants in the Torrance Mall, and I spent a summer there, and I just kind of fed that machine quarters for an entire summer. Couldn't get very far, but
Isn't it crazy? Isn't it crazy to think about in the 80s when $20 was a pretty hefty amount of money.
Yeah.
That you could go to an arcade for $20 and you were done in 15 minutes. 30 minutes max. $20 didn't get past 30 minutes. And then what did you do the rest of the day? You went outside and played with
Sulk.
Yeah.
Sulk at how shitty I was at the game.
Yeah, you just
I'd be like, God, I sucked.
Yeah. That's why when Street Fighter came out, it was good because it was so popular, so you'd have to wait. So you'd have to put your quarter up there and have to wait a while. So luckily it took a while to get through your funds.
No, freaking Street Fighter was a game changer. You know what? That got me thinking of the Starcade in at Disney. That's no longer there anymore, right?
No.
Because they used to have crazy games, those big robotic, spaceship games that would cost $2 to play, and there's no way in hell I'd throw $2 in the machine just to die 10 seconds later.
So that area there is I forget, I don't know the official the legit term, but it's OSHA unapproved. So OSHA came in and said guests cannot be in here. It's it's just not approved safety. It's a safety issue is why they can't use it.
Because of the architecture? or
Yeah,
like...
yeah, it's like the building itself. It's just
Oh.
it's just not on code.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Wow.
so it's basically because it was open for a while and they had to close it because it just didn't meet the OSHA codes. I guess that's what I was trying to say.
Isn't like Captain EO? Didn't Captain EO? Wasn't Captain EO playing there?
No, that's in the building next door. That's in the theater.
Oh,
That's
okay.
also was that closed? I think they use that as like a theater for previews now. But yeah, it's that whole area, that whole Tomorrowland area is just
falling apart.
Not good.
How come they don't they didn't rebuild it during this pandemic time? I figured they can fix all that.
It's very, I think, so rumor is, I can't get in trouble for this because I don't even know if it's true or not. It's just what I've heard, is that Tomorrowland's going to be like tackled next as like a big Disneyland project because they wanted to do get Galaxy's Edge in, and then the rumor is that so Star Tours has been on and off the table back and forth. So like it's like, oh no, we're getting rid of it, or we're keeping it, we're moving it, but we're keeping it. So I don't even know what stage that's at now because it's just like I feel like it was like a monthly thing where it was like, oh no, we're keeping it. But I mean, it doesn't make sense keeping it, but what else are you going to put there? So it's like this weird like conundrum of like, okay, well, a lot of people go on it and nothing else is there to replace it, but also Star Wars is over there too, so it feels weird being here. So it's all those weird back and forth.
I love Star Tours. I actually, like, the last time you and I went to the park, Scott, we went on Star Tours, and they had updated the cinematics to incorporate some of the latest trilogy, if I recall, into it. And I'm just and I think it would be a crying shame to lose that. But I also agree that, like, they should just like expand a little bit more of Star Wars of Galaxy's Edge and put, Star Tours in there.
Yeah,
like it's.
I like Star Tours better than the Smuggler's Run, which is the Millennium Falcon ride. Right. I think it's a better experience. I think it's more movement. It's just more of a fun thing. Mm-hmm. But it's too bad the pandemic is here because that second ride that opened at Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah, I know. Everyone like creams in their jeans over it. And
you know what? And I told you this, like honestly, that attraction by itself is better than any of the movies that it's based on. Like,
wow,
it's a weird thing because usually it's the opposite, right? Usually you have a great movie and like the attraction, like E.T. or whatever, like the attraction comes out as like.
Ask Universal Studios.
Yeah,
it's got everything.
Yeah, everything.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, it's kind of a shame. At least, I mean, that's my opinion. And
so how's Disney World compared to Disneyland? At least the Star Wars part. Are they exactly the same?
Yeah, they're exactly the same.
Oh, okay.
The only difference is like the paint scheme. So like Disneyland is more of a darker gray with the overall paint scheme, and then Disney World has more of a reddish tone. But like even the architecture, where everything is completely all the same.
Wow, I didn't know that. So okay, so there's no advantage going to like cross country to Disney World. And
weren't they open for a while?
It's Florida. They're probably open right now.
Yeah, they're open.
Aren't they open?
Yeah.
Right, so they don't have you working to do projects for Florida?
No, like I said, it's all. So Florida's open. Hong Kong is open, and I think Japan is open, and I think I think we're the only one not open.
Well, it's because we're fucking idiots, but like
Yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, but I think we are the only resort not open.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they don't have you back, kind of like slaving away at like other projects like around the world right now.
I know it. Well, I think a lot of things have been put on hold. There are projects that were like, for example, Avengers Campus. Before the pandemic, they were in construction in California Adventure. So projects like that have already kind of started construction, like all those people are back online. So like all the construction workers, WDI folks that are involved with those projects, they're back online. But I think all of the smaller projects, or even projects that are sort of blue sky, or even maybe above blue sky a little bit, those are all.
What does blue sky mean?
Just like the idea phase of like we're doing a project, but you're like actually getting all the designs and ideas together and stuff like that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So wait, if given the opportunity, would you bail on your job and do toys and figures and go the indie toy route?
If I could afford to, I would. You guys know toys don't make crap.
Yeah, but I wasn't sure if you loved your job enough, or if that's like, no way, I wouldn't leave it.
No,
you know?
if I were in the position to, it's tough because there is the side that there's the sort of like, I've been there for 21 years. I have some autonomy there, and some, so there's like that side of it where I feel like I'm safe at that job. Where the toy thing, it's like, well, who knows what's going to happen, with that, and it's all freelance.
Join the dark side.
This side's definitely less stressful, I can tell you that. I mean, it's weird because like the pandemic, like I feel like I'm the only one that's not like completely anxious ridden. Like I'm good. Like what are you guys? What's wrong with you guys? Having a good time.
Well, I mean, getting unemployment checks is kind of nice as well, right?
But I think it's being at home, because I love being at home. I love working by myself, which is sort of challenging being at Disney too, is you're working with people, and sometimes it's hard to doing that when you want to be, especially for creative types. I mean, like I just don't think a lot of people, because where I work, it's like we have creatives, we have business-minded people, number crunchers, like all that. And creative people you have to get into a zone to like be able to create. Like you can't be constantly interrupted. You have to be able to focus, and I can do that here. I don't have to worry about people constantly coming in my cubicle, because they're bored and they want to chat. So it's things like that. And I think that honestly, the most stressful part of my job at Disney is dealing with that. And I think a lot of people, I'm over it because I've been there for 21 years, but I think there are a few people that don't like me or think I'm an asshole because I'm jetting past them in the hall because I'm trying to get back to my desk, or I don't want to chit chat outside my cubicle. But it's just like, I've just gotten into that mode where it's like, I'm sorry, like I have to work. And, a lot of people I work with, it's like they're sending emails and they're just waiting on replies. So what are they going to do in the meantime? And we're not like that. So.
Bug Scott.
Bug Mr. Tolleson.
Look at Scott's toys. Touch his Hulk.
Don't play with my toys. Don't come in my cubicle. Just leave me alone. I'll call you. How about that? I'll call you when I want to talk.
Well, you don't have an office? I thought you were like, you'd think that like art direction would mean like, you have a,
No, well, the only people that have offices are like executives. So
open floor plan.
Yeah.
2020.
It's
Get COVID now because of it's an open floor plan. Go back to the offices. That's safer.
I can't wait to go back to the offices and like all the cubicles like have like these like corrugated shelving over the top of it, like all sealed off. We have to wear like suits to go in. But that's the thing is, I don't even think with my job, even if we're called back next month, like I'm pretty sure the option, if it even is an option, I think it'll be mandatory. Like, hey, if you can work home, you're working at home. So I think even if I go back to work, I'm still gonna be here, which is kind of fun. I still like that. I mean, I would work from home all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I could.
Oh, sure.
Alrighty.
Awesome.
It has been an hour and 41 minutes, guys. We made it.
We made it.
We've cleared.
And that's a good way to. That was actually a really nice way to end to me.
Agreed.
Yeah.
It's like stay home, guys.
Yeah,
it's good.
Stay home. Wear your mask. Don't be an asshole.
Yep. Yep.
Even if you think it's a hoax, wear it for the people around you for their.
Yeah, just wear it for their wear it because they believe it, even if it's fake.
Yeah.
You know,
even if it's fake, just be.
It's fake, but just wear the mask because it looks cool. You know, and it feels good. Yeah,
dude, I like my mask photos so much more than.
And it's not like most of everybody's that good looking. The mask helps you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
completely.
Especially those. The Karens and the weird dudes, Kens, I guess you'd call it, and all the weird Orange County people that are all like anti-mask. Put the mask on, you look a lot better. Man, I swear, you don't look so good without it. That's for sure.
Oh man,
I see too many YouTube videos, and I'm just like, or too many Reddit videos where I'm just like, oh no, like.
Well, just think if you're a Karen, just think of all the money you'll save on makeup. You just put the mask on.
There you go.
Yeah,
man.
See?
Yeah, ladies.
Yeah. I'll pitch in.
Be good.
I'll buy you a mask. I will buy you a mask. If you're a Karen, I'll buy you a mask. How's that?
I'll be a Karen.
Okay, I'll buy you a mask.
Alrighty, guys.
There you go.
Awesome.
Hey, wait. Beforehand, where do people find you, Scott?
Oh, so for anything toy related, drops, releases, like where I'm at in the process of toy designing, whatever. Instagram is the best place to go, and it's at Mr. Scott Tolleson on Instagram. I'm also on Twitter, but it's just I don't really do much there. And then Facebook is just a goofy thing for me. You can find me on there. It's just Scott Tolleson, but I'm just posting funny memes and family pictures and making fun of other people.
That's the best part.
Yeah. I don't take Facebook seriously because it's kind of
my favorite place to go nowadays. Just because it's not like work related at all.
True.
Like I just go there. I just go there for the lulz.
Yeah. If you don't treat it like that, I just go there for the memes and the laughs. But I've recently, I've been going through TikTok recently, and I know it's like way under like where I should be, but it's fascinating if you're curious about just like sort of what our younger generation is up to. I would definitely go and check it out because I'm sorry, but this might be the end of times.
I like TikTok actually. I think TikTok. I like TikTok as long as it stays on TikTok. I just hate seeing TikTok on Instagram. It's kind of like, dude, keep your TikToks in your TikTok, or like just transfer it to your Instagram Live, so I don't have to fucking see you like do your dumbass K-pop dance routine, and I don't care how cute you are, there's a lot of friends that I like, really cute friends that I'm following that will just post them doing dumb TikTok routines, and I'm just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Who are these friends of yours, Luke?
I'm not going to call anyone out.
Oh, okay. Well,
but if you're hearing this and this is something you do, you know who I'm talking about.
All of Luke's Gen Z friends, right?
Yeah.
Basically.
All your millennial and Gen Z friends.
Oh yeah, exactly. That like love doing pop music fucking dance routines. Like, no thank you. Like, just continue posting fun little selfies, just do what you're good with on Instagram, and then post it on your lives, your Instagram lives. That's fine.
It's fine. Everything's fine, you guys. The pandemic, it's all fine.
It's all fine, man.
We're all good.
All fine.
Straight man.
Alrighty.
Cool. Well, thanks
you.
for having me, guys.
Thanks so much.
Fun.
Yeah, thank you, Scott. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, no problem.
Take care.
All right, bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.